something in the Bible that really, very unusual. It's not common. Those of us who are familiar with the Bible, and if you're not familiar with the Bible, the book of Matthew, chapter 1, talks about the genealogy of Jesus. And it talks about the fathers of faith, Jesus' ancestors, starting from Abraham down Isaac, Jacob, Judah, and up to the time of David. And then it goes further to talk about from the time of David to the time of Jesus. And now basically it's just a summary of all Jesus' male ancestors. You understand what I mean? Like from Abraham down to the father of Jesus, that's the earthly father of Jesus, Joseph. It talks about Abraham begat Isaac, Isaac begat this person. And but there's something I noticed that it was mostly talking about the fathers. But there were four women that were mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus. And these four women are Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, and Uriah. And of course, the mother of Jesus, Mary. But these four women, Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, and Bathsheba, if you look at the history of these women, number one, you cannot classify them as chaste women. They were not first wives, they were not virgins, they were not pure in the sense of the word, if you understand what I mean. And the person who they had the child for that keyed them into the genealogy of Jesus, I wouldn't say it was their husband. Now, let me go a little deeper into this. We have Tamar. Tamar was the daughter in law of Judah. Judah was the grandson of Abraham. Oh, no, the great grandson of Abraham. And Tamar was married to Judah's son, rather. She married the first son, that one died without a seed. She married the second one, he died without a seed. So she was expecting to marry the third one, as was their custom. But Judah was reluctant to give her the third husband, or to allow her to marry the third husband. And he kept saying that when he's older, and time was going and this woman was waiting on ending, and then she did something. So she waylaid Judah, pretended to be a prostitute, and if you go to the Bible you will read more of it. And she convinced Judah to sleep with her. Judah thought she was a prostitute. And long story short, she had two sons. She had twins, Perez and what's the second one? I can't remember. Perez and Terah. So this woman, from this act, which seemed like incestuous, which seems like you cannot be sleeping with your father-in-law. Hello. So from this singular act, this woman was keyed into the lineage of Jesus because it was one of her sons who happened to be Jesus' ancestors. And so we cannot classify her as a pure woman. Now, the second one is Rahab, who was a harlot that harbored the spies that came to Jericho. And that was how she was keyed into the genealogy of Jesus. She was a harlot. She was not a virgin. She was not a chaste woman. She was not a virtuous woman. Now, the third person we have here is Ruth. That was Naomi's daughter-in-law. She was previously married to Naomi's son, who died, and eventually she later got married to Boaz. She was not originally an Israelite, so she was kind of like engrafted into the Israelite nation. This woman was I don't know how I would say it, but yeah, she was originally not a worshipper of God. She was an idol worshipper, like it was stated in the book of Ruth. Now, the fourth person is Bathsheba, Uriah's wife. If you're familiar with the story, there was war, and King David did not go to the war. He was in his kingdom and he was walking around. Eventually, he saw Bathsheba taking her bath, and he lured her, convinced her, and slept with her, and all of that. She eventually birthed the son who became who joined the lineage, the genealogy of Jesus. Now, these four women, looking at it by human standards, by the religious standard, from the religious point of view, these women were not chaste women. They had questionable backgrounds. They had questionable relationship with the men who keyed them into the system. But deeds did not determine their future. What I'm trying to say is that their background did not matter. There were a lot of women, mothers in the genealogy of Jesus, who were pure, who were virtuous, who were this, who were that, but they were not mentioned. It was only the men who were mentioned. And then these four women, and of course, okay, let me call it five. These five women, including Mary, the mother of Jesus. If you understand the birth of Jesus, that it was an immaculate conception, Mary did not have an intercourse with a man before she conceived and had Jesus, you would also understand that her own background was somehow questionable. She was claimed to be a virgin, and then all of a sudden you're pregnant. Why are you pregnant? You're telling us that you did not sleep with any man. Who are you? Are you kidding me? Who is the wine? So all of this put together. Now, what I'm trying to point out is that it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter your history, it may not be pure, it may not be chaste, it may not be up to par, it may not be top notch in the standard of humans. In the religious standards, you may have done a lot of things, you may have strayed, you may have lived a wayward life, but now that you have realized that you can actually become better, what matters most is what you do from the moment you realize that you have been going on the wrong path. What is the next thing that you do? So your background doesn't have to hinder you from keying into what God has in store for you. So do not let your background determine what your future is going to be like. You have the opportunity now to rewrite your story, to key into God's will, to key into God's purpose for your life. It doesn't matter how far you have strayed, it doesn't matter how wrong you think your life has gone. What are you doing now to help you key into God's purpose? If these four women who had questionable background could be mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus, that means they had done something remarkable for God to key them in and mention them. As in, there was no other women except these four women with questionable history. That's for you to know that our God is a merciful God. That's for you to know that your past does not need to determine your future. You have the power right now to transform your future, to correct whatever wrong that you have done, and to key into God's will and purpose for your life. I don't know, I just thought I should share this because after I read this, I've been reading the genealogy of Jesus, but recently I read this and it triggered something in me and it sparked up something in me. And I thought I should share this because I am sure it is going to bless somebody. So I hope that henceforth you're going to make the right decision that will key you and help you to align with God's will and purpose for your life. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're watching this on YouTube, do not forget to hit the subscribe button because I'll be sharing more amazing content to help us all become better. If you're watching this on Facebook or any of my social media platforms, don't forget to follow this page or this channel depending on where you're watching it. I love you and I'm rooting for you. Bye.